So I'm finally doing this book review on 7 Days in June. Yes, I know. It's been a minute, right? Right. So if you've been following along with my shorts and my updates, then you already know that I had to put this book on timeout. I had to put this grown book on timeout. And if you're reading along with me, then you already know what happens in chapter 10. So overall, I did like the book. If I'm going to be honest, this is not something that I would pick up and read on my own. It's not. But once I started reading it, I did get upset and put it in timeout. And I think because I was doing the book club and I was already vested in the fact that I was doing this book club, then it was like, all right, girl, I guess you got to finish reading this book. There has been times where I've put a book in timeout and it's still on timeout years later. If I was to put that book in timeout on my own, would I have picked it back up? No. A lot of it felt like it was something that I already knew. Something that was very predictable. Something like, okay, this is what's going to happen. So for me, I don't think picking up that book would have been something that I would have did again. Now let's discuss these characters, right? Eva. Eva, I see a lot of myself in Eva. Minus the drugs. And not saying that everything between me and Eva is a one-to-one correlation. However, I see a lot of myself in her. She is trying to hold it all together. So she is a single mom, balancing work, raising her daughter. And her daughter is lovely. She's like, typical teenage-ish girl. Driving you crazy and stuff. Dealing with that, she's doing, she's trying to, publish and do another book. And it's, so much that she's juggling all at the same time and still dealing with the chronic pain. Now, let's talk about little Miss Audrey. I love that little girl. But she is something else. Oh, I tell you. The reason why I love her is because she is so dramatica. She is dramatica. You got to put the at the end because she surpasses dramatic. That child, I love her down. Just reading the book, I think she was my favorite character, if we're going to be honest. She is opinionated. She's spicy. She's all of the things that, a young girl is supposed to be. She is awesome. She is not afraid to say what she thinks. She reminds me so much of my daughter. I think that's why I love her so much. When she starts talking about this little business that she has going on, let me tell you about my daughter, right? And then you're going to understand why I love Audrey so much. My daughter decided that she was going to sell one of her classmates a piece of paper. Just one piece, right? And then she told the classmate, there's no refunds because once you write on the paper, you can't give it back. That's not the worst part, right? Because the school gives out paper for free. They give out crayons, pencils, all of the things for free. You could have got a piece of paper from the teacher for free. This little boy spent $10 for one piece of paper. She really charged him $10 whole for one piece of paper. And he was happy and excited about it. His parents was not. His father definitely was not excited. His father definitely was not happy. I think I love the dynamic between Eva and Audrey so much because, like I said, Eva in ways reminds me of myself and Audrey in ways reminds me of my girl. Basically, in chapter 10, Eva gets a call and she has to go to Audrey's school. Eva gets there, and because of Audrey and her little entrepreneurial ways, and she did whatever at the beginning of the school year. She's facing the fact that she may be getting expelled, the English teacher gone, and now the principal is like basically telling her, you need to find me a new English teacher or your daughter is out of here. She had already stopped doing whatever she was doing. What got me was after. She's now coming into the hallway. She's talking to Audrey. She says, whatever, whatever, whatever. And Audrey gets to rambling on. She basically tell her mother that she perfect because she don't do nothing. She's a robot. She don't even date. She just... You should... Whew. That right there got me. Because ain't no way you about to sit here and talk to me like that. And then she just kept going. Who you talking to? You 12. And then had the nerve to ask her why her father left. Ain't no way. Because what do you mean? Putting that book on Timeout actually did what it was supposed to do. Because once I came back, I reread the chapter and I understood where Audrey was coming from. So I truly understand that Audrey wasn't trying to be rude. She wasn't trying to be disrespectful. She wasn't trying to hurt her mom. She was trying to understand her on a deeper level. That's what I'm taking from it. Because it's like, well, what is going on where you just keep running through life and like it's the same repetitive thing over and over and over. You're not really living. Like, what's happening? And then she's like, okay, well, what happened with you and my dad? Yes, that could feel like a low blow. However, she's trying to put the pieces together because she does not see her mom dating. She doesn't see any of these things happening, and she wants her mother to be happy. She wants her mother to find love and be in love and do all of these things that's going to make her happy, but she does not see any of them happening. I just feel like the only issue is she said it in the most chaotic way possible. She just let all her thoughts come out. She didn't try to censor, she didn't try to figure it out, but she didn't go about it in the right way. It just all came out. So now let's talk about Shane. Shane's story also surprised me. Like listening to his story and how he was deliberately breaking his arm and going through all of these traumatic things, to figure out later on in the book that Shane really didn't leave her. Shane wound up having to face one of his worst fears. He was literally pulled away from her. He was dragged away from her, kicking and screaming and fighting, and then he was arrested again. And that's what she promised, like, okay, I'm going to make sure this never happens to you again. I feel like with the two of them, they make promises that they can't keep to each other. What got me was this whole time, Eva never knew that. She didn't know that this man didn't leave you. He was literally dragged away. He was kicking, screaming, going through the motions. He was holding on to you and wouldn't let you go. And she didn't know none of that. She didn't find that out until 15 years later. We already talked about Eva. We talked about Audrey. And we talked about Shane, right? And my favorite dynamic in this book is the three of them together. So let's talk about that, right? So my favorite part of the book was seeing the way Shane interacted with Audrey and Eva. The first time you see the three of them together, when Shane has to explain that basically her mother did not seduce her for her to stay in school, and that they were friends. At that point, you see Audrey go through the motions. You see where she's going with each individual step, right? First, she's like the FBI, right? 50 million questions. What do you mean? How do you know her? Like, what's happening, right? That's what you see first. And then it's like, okay, she's very protective of her mom. You get to see more of Audrey in that moment. And then, this is where I tell you, this little girl is dramatica. This girl decided, I'm going to go in my room and I'm going to change. But she just walks off. So Shane is sitting there like, where'd she go? She just walk off in the middle. Like, she was just asking me 50 million questions and now she walk off. And then Eva's like, give it a minute. Just wait. You're going to see. Then she comes sashaying back out in a new outfit. Like, girl. She get on my nerves. Go somewhere. What do you mean? I love it, though. I love it. I love it. Because that's some foolishness my daughter would do. Why did you go in your room and change your clothes for the mood? You feel better now? You changing your clothes to show him that you feel better? You got to show that you feel better. You can't just say, okay, I feel better. Okay. And then I see pockets of like just Shane and Audrey. I know you more than just friends with my mom. You gonna make sure you do what you're supposed to do for my mother and you gonna treat her the right way. And if not, there's gonna be problems. And I love that. I love that, right? Because yes, she's young. Yes, she's 12, but she's not stupid. When she says like, okay, no, I already know this is what's happening with y'all. That was cute. You try to say, okay, yeah, just friends. That was real cute. But take care of my mother. Okay? Okay. So I think that part was really cute. I love the fact that Audrey invited Shane to go out to the tea party or whatever that they do every year before she goes to California. I think that was amazing. Because it's like, okay, no, I want to see who this person is. You know? Like they started building and connecting and building their own bond. And I thought that was awesome. You also see a part of her trying to protect her mom. So you see when her mom is like making excuses for Shane. In the end, she's like, you know, because I know he wasn't coming. I know he told you he wasn't coming and you was trying to make excuses. And that's not what happened. But, you know, we're going to figure it out. I can't hold it no more. I'm going to go on a little mini rant, right? So the whole situation with Eva and Audrey, that whole conversation, that hit a nerve for me. Initially. And then I'm like, okay, all right, you know. But what I could not get over, the fact that really bothered me, was Eva's mother. How do you not protect your child? Like, what is happening? You the one that called the cops on Shane. And granted, your child was 17 years old. So I understand. It's like, you know, you're trying to protect your kid. You're trying to do the best that you can for your kid. I get it. Cool. But that's not where that was coming from. It was coming from, oh, well, she can't, there's no way she found love. And I can't find love. You sat there and was basically jealous that your child found somebody to love her, who did not want to let her go, who was kicking, screaming, and fighting for her. And so it was like, yeah, lock him up. And then it was like that whole hateful thought process, that whole, like, what is wrong with you? So because nobody loved you like that, nobody cared enough about you, nobody wanted to keep you, you're trying to get rid of the person that wants to be there for your daughter? Now, don't get me wrong, right? If I'm going to be honest, I feel like Shane and Eva did need to split up, right? Because the path that they were going down at that time just wasn't right. It was not working out for them. It was not the right timing. That brings me to my next point. I feel like this book was really about timing, healing, and growth, right? Because if Shane and Eva would have stayed together at that time, one or both of them wouldn't have made it. And then after that, she stayed away from her mother. I feel like had she continued to go back with her mother and continue doing and going through the same cycle with her mom, it would not have ended well. But look at them when they rekindle and come back 15 years later. Like, she had to fight to be where she was. She had to heal. She had to grow. She had to learn from all of the things that was happening around her. And I feel like now that the two of them are stronger, they could come back together because they had love, right? We're not doubting that part. They didn't have the stability or the healing to support themselves or each other in that moment. Sometimes people need distance to grow into who they are supposed to be before they could come back together in a healthier way and then be the best people that they're supposed to be for each other. For me, it was predictable. One of the examples of a time where I felt like it was just predictable, Audrey called Cece. We already knew it was going to happen. Cece can't mind her business for nothing. Nothing. So when Cece said, oh, she got it, we knew she got it. We knew her, she was going to make sure that Shane and Eva got back together some way, somehow. And at that point in time, when she called him for the show or the book read or whatever that it was supposed to be, I already knew that Eva was showing up to that. When they met up for dinner and it was just the two of them, it wasn't a big surprise. But I mean, I guess that's what romance books do. My final rating for 7 Days in June is a 3.5. I'll give them a 3.5. I would recommend this book to somebody who likes romance, family issues, trauma. But if you're looking for something like light and fluffy, this is not for you. I think this book will honestly work with somebody who's looking for something a little bit more than romance, but like, you know, romance with a side of trauma. And that's my review. I want to know what y'all thought. If you read the book along with me or before me, did you love it? Did you hate it? Would you read it again? Would you recommend it to somebody else? Did you put the book on timeout? Because I know I did. And I wanted to throw it a couple of times too, because I honestly really can't stand her mother. Her mother was the worst person ever. So let's talk down in the comments. Tell me what you think about this book and what would you rate it. I'll catch you here next time on Plot Twist Sistas, right here in Heaven's Cozy Corner.